Hi there, welcome back to a new video. I am going to get this new journal started. I'm filming this the wrong end of the day and I always get shadows in the evening, so I'm really sorry for the shadows. I hope you'll bear with me while I sort of like try and get through it and try and make them as least noticeable as possible. Let me take off my charm. I should do this before I start the video, really. Oh. So I want to make a start with this journal. You may well have seen already when I created this journal. I'll leave a link down below just in case you didn't. And since then I've made some pockets to go inside it as well. But I actually want to jump in and start. It's a blank journal at the moment. Nothing has been actually journaled in, so I'm excited to set it up and get started. I'm going to be doing this one very differently to all my other journals, so that's something I want to discuss in this video too with you. First thing I'm going to do though, oh that's a squeaky noise, is start printing off some photos. I thought I would do that with you here because it is one of, or possibly my most asked question. How do I print off my small photos? So that's what I'm going to do with you today. Right, the first thing I'm going to show you, I have gone into the Canva app. This is the free Canva app. Let me know if you use the paid version and what you think of it, because I was very tempted today when they offered me a free 7-day trial. I'd be interested to hear what you think. But these are basically my photos. We're doing a gardening journal, so I'm printing off some garden photos, and I have just gone into Canva and found a collage template for 4. And then I hit the download button, that saves it, and then I can go into my Canon Selfie app and go to photo print, smartphone, and then I've got my 2 photos there that I have saved. So we'll add the first one, go on to next, and that will print that. And that's how I get my small photos. There we go, as easy as that. But you obviously do need a selfie printer in order to do that. Or the saved ones, I send off to free prints. I work on my collages, load them up. I think it's 45 prints, isn't it? So you get 45 lots of little ones, and obviously you can do different collages as well. So you could just do the 2 on a page, could be 3, or lots of different size ones as well. So you just take your pick. As you can see, that's printing there. And yeah, then you add them to the free prints site, or the free prints app I should say, and I think it's £2.99 currently. Or did it go up? I can't remember. For your set of photos to be sent to you, which I think is pretty good. As you can see, this has already printed. I love my selfie printer. It is one of the best things I've ever bought for journaling. Right, let's go on to the next one, and let's make sure I don't do the same one. Add that one, and then next. Yeah, that's a different one, and then we'll print that one as well. Make sure that's going. Excellent. Obviously it works out cheaper to do the free prints, but I'm not always organised, and like today this was just a sudden thing, me thinking actually I'd really like to do this. So I want to work on this journal. Let me just let this print and then I'll carry on speaking actually. So I've got 8 little photos ready to go. Now, one of my biggest tips for starting a journal is to be slightly organised. I made a little kit to go with this journal just before I started it, and it really has saved me so much time. I'll leave a link to that video down below as well, where you actually see me choose everything I want for this journal. And now I've got a whole bag, and I've been adding to it since as well. But it's so nice. I want to work in this journal. I'm pulling out this little bag, and it's got everything that I want for this journal. So I'm today not spending, I've given myself about an hour up here today. Aid's watching the football, it's pouring with rain, and I want to have a cozy evening tonight. So this is my time at my desk. I don't want to spend 45 minutes of my hour trying to decide what to work with. So if I can give you any tip at all about starting a journal, it's to try and be a little bit organized. Doesn't mean to say you need everything there, but maybe have a look through, see what you've got in your papers, in your stash, pop it in a clear bag. I find these the best ones. They're the 12 by 12 clear ones. They get sent to me when I have bits and pieces come through from Paper Maze, and I have got so much stuff in here that some's good for journaling. I've got book pages. I have got, oh, that was the spine of a previous journal. I've got some envelopes. I've got some old epoxy stickers from my stash, to-do lists. I've got old envelopes, you name it. It's in here. There is such a good lot of stuff, even some trimming and some washi tape. Anything that I thought, yes, that will go so well. Now, what I'm going to start with today, so we basically moved into a new build, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, nearly 2 years ago. The 2 years have flown by. They really, really have. And it wasn't until I was discussing with on one of our Patreon Zooms, I'll talk more about that in a moment, and Leanna was saying how she is starting a gardening journal. I'm going to start cutting these up while I chat, actually. And I thought, what a great idea. She is also starting with a blank canvas, and I might actually keep these all on one page. Well, let's do this one to start with. She's also starting with a blank canvas, and she just wanted to document her journey with her garden. But not just the journey, but then to-do lists as well on keeping that garden up. And I just loved that idea. I really did. I loved my journal when we moved house and just documenting the whole process over, it was about a year. And I love the idea of doing that with this journal. So it could be that this journal goes on for 2, 3, 4 years. Who knows? But it's here, and I'm looking forward to it. So the very first one was, this was taken, I think, 2 days after we moved in, and our garden was mud. That was it, just mud. Actually, the other one that I wanted to do, have I? Oh yes, I have. Then I'm going to let you into a little secret. We decided not to pay to have our garden lawned. What do you call that? Lawn added. I can't think what that was called. Landscaped. It was £900. We've got a really small garden, but also we didn't know what we wanted in our garden, and we don't want a lot of grass, to be honest. I think we would like it to be more kind of like cottage style garden, have lots of little areas, little seating areas. So we didn't want to pay £900 to have grass done, but actually end up digging most of it up. So we decided not to, but then literally a few days after we moved in, we did have a lot of problems with the house when we moved in. But we got a knock on the door to say the landscape gardeners would be coming the next day, just so, you know, we could leave the gate open. And sure enough, they came in and turfed the lot. We were so surprised, so we don't know. But we saw other people's being done as well. So we were the last few houses, so we don't know if maybe they had turf left. The guys that were doing it were just obviously the gardeners. They were nothing to do with it. So, yeah, so we got really lucky. As it was, there has been a lot of problems. The garden has severely shrunk. It's dropped. For example, the washing line is about here. I'm really short. I can only put my washing on one side of the line because it drops dramatically. When you walk across the garden, you feel like you're drunk. It's that bumpy. So it wasn't a great job. So we're really glad we didn't pay £900. But at the same time, the fact that we've got turf saved us so much money, and it's meant we haven't had to rush into doing the garden, which we're really pleased about, because like I said, there's been a lot of drop in the garden. So yeah, we're really pleased about that. But I want to document all of this. I found these cards. Look, all these month cards. These were from Chic Tags, I think about 2012, something like that. Waiting to be used, so I thought these would be really handy. So I feel like they want to be stuck at the top there, so I might do something like that. Now, the other thing that I had in my bag, my kit bag, Lauren, my lovely friend, who works on my design team as well, I have a monthly kit subscription box club. for journaling. She sent me a whole load of bits and pieces for my gardening journal, and look at this, starting from scratch. So I feel this would be really, really good on here. I do quite like that. Do you know what I'm going to do actually? Let's take some of this off. Somebody left a comment the other day and saying how genius that is to tear with a ruler. You just kind of think everyone does that kind of thing, don't you? Now, I love the fact that I've got the flowers on there. They are precious, but I have a lot of them throughout the book. So I'm not going to feel so precious that I want to leave them all. I don't. So I'm going to leave it like that. But I would maybe like a little bit. So how about we do this? I will be adding that afterwards. This does fold out slightly. We're leaving that in there. So I would like that page left over. I really like that. So let's add some tape down the side. Something I love when I'm doing my journals is to have lots of pieces poking out the sides at the tops. Not down the bottom, because then you can't stand your journal. But that makes me really happy. So let's poke this out. Let's keep it the same size as the paper, and we will then trim this down like that. And that is a really cool edge. I love that. But what I want to do, because I would like to see, I've decided some of the flowers, I can then overlap that slightly, which looks cool. We'll team this up. Let's cut that down there. This could be quite handy. I will keep that. That could be a handy little notelet. And could even actually have this as a pocket. Oh, I quite like that idea. Let's do that. I don't know if I will end up using it as a pocket, but I always say to leave yourself options, because you just don't know. So if I do want to add something, I can. Let's make sure I stick the right side down. I want to stick this one down. I would much rather leave myself options to add something than later think, oh, I wish I'd have left that. I hate that feeling, I really do. And I do that quite a lot. So always learn by your mistakes. They're not even mistakes sometimes. It's just allow yourself that flexibility to change your mind. Because I find that when you create a journal, it is a constant mind-changing exercise. Right, I like those flowers. So this way, we have a little bit of a pocket. That has not, oh, that's why that hasn't stuck down, because I didn't remove that. That would help. There. It's a little bit on the wonky side, but do we care? No, we don't, because it's only paper. Now, I really wanted the November to go on there. Could have that, or actually, I quite like that. Then, actually, I love it at the side, because now that will peep over the side. Let's do that. That is so cool. So I'm going to add the tape on there. By the way, if you're new to my channel, please say hello. I'd love to say hello back. Welcome. I love journaling. I have been memory keeping now for, let's just make sure that is visual. Yep. I have been memory keeping now for about 23 years. Maybe 22 years. I started when my youngest was 18 months and he's coming up to 24 just after Christmas. So I've been memory keeping for a very long time, and I started crafting as a child. I was one of those, probably like most of you. I have always loved drawing. I remember copying like Minnie and Mickey Mouse, the Disney font and all that kind of thing. Always drawing cartoon characters, doodling. And then as I got older and I really got into photography, well, I didn't really get into photography. I had a little point and shoot camera, but I loved taking photographs right from like early teens. I remember taking a camera into school. I was about 12, 13. and I started wanting to take photos of friends and document stories and things, and I used to start then making little mini photo albums, but like doodling around and adding stickers and little memory captions and things like that. So that's how it all started from me. And then I seriously got into crafting when my youngest was a baby. Youngest was a baby, but I started card making. There we go. I love, in case you're wondering what I was doing, I love to create a little white border around my photos. So we've got here starting from scratch. So we're actually jumping straight in on the photos and where we're actually starting. I would quite like to then actually write a little bit about what we're doing. Not doing the estimated budget. We're here for the long run, so there is no budget. It's just whatever happens. It's not like we're doing a big garden transformation, because we're not. So we have our moving in day. It's just going to be a gradual process that we're going to be documenting in this journal. But sometimes I think doing something like this, you kind of don't appreciate how far you've already come, and it's not until you actually see it side by side and you think, wow, we've done so much. Especially now, having been in the house for 2 years, you think, oh gosh. And I wish I'd started a house journal actually, and I guess there's still time, isn't there? I really wish I'd done that. So here we are. This is us starting from scratch. I like this. I would like to add other things. I want to write the story and some bits and pieces like that. I'm just having a look at what I've got in here. I do quite like this actually. This was from my journal, my weekly journal. Quite like that. Actually, that's not a bad one to actually pull out and actually document. I quite like that. Then I can tell the story of the turf. So I think that would be a really good one. I would like to create a little tab so that I know to pull that out. I think I love things like that. I have also got a tag there. This is why it's really nice having this little kit here that I've created to pull out bits and pieces. What have I got here that would be handy? Really, this is all such old stuff. I love this. These aren't even sticky anymore, they're that old. Right, I love the hello today. It's not actually going to stick on there, but what I might do is add some ribbon along the top. Actually, no, I love that, but I'm going lace. Let's grab some lace on here. This is the perfect piece. So let's have it like this. I want all the textures. I love all the textures. I am going to add, I don't often add the sticky tape on something like that, but I am today. And then I'm also going to staple. Do you know, hot glue would have been really good, but actually it's not plugged in. Maybe I should plug it in. It's one of those things that when you're doing something like this, it's just easy to have there ready to go. And I do love my hot glue gun. Pop that on there. And then I can trim off the end. I think that needs to go down a little bit lower actually. There we go. And I was just going to staple that on there. I just want this to be the most beautiful journal, so that when anyone looks at it, it's a, ooh, that kind of journal. That's what I like. Oh, I love that. That's so cute. That is perfect. I said about doing a pocket. I'm so glad I did now. Now, I'm going to do a few more of this. I like that you got this. Starting from scratch. And again, this is just from going through my old stash. Now with these are so handy. If you haven't obviously got something with the months on, create your own. That's so easy to do. You could print it off really easy. You could create your own. You could do tracing over some really fun things. Just get crazy with it and just have fun. That's what you should do. Right. And then I would like something with the story as well. That would be so cute. I'm going to have a quick look through to see through And you can see all these bits and pieces that I've pulled out, how well they go. I wonder if I have actually got something with the story on. It's the kind of thing I would have. What's this got? Everyday fresh start. If not, we have got alphabet stickers we could use. I think I might do that. Look what I've just pulled out. I just pulled out a load of stickers, and actually I could do the story. How cool. THE. Always double check. I've checked with the red ones and I have got those. And I quite like it sometimes when you go partly over the photo. Now, something else I wanted to talk about. I know going straight onto the first page can be so tricky. I've been there myself as well, where you just don't want to make a mistake. Or do I go under here? Yeah, I quite like that actually. And it can be really tricky to get going. So if that is you as well, I understand sometimes it's easiest just to almost like tear off the plaster and just go for it. If, however, you aren't sure, leave the first page blank. There's no reason why you can't come back to it. And to be honest, that's what I do most of the time, and then come back to it afterwards. If you're not sure, these aren't sticky enough anymore. This is the problem when you don't always use things straight away and you let things sit in your stash. Sometimes it's not great to leave things to admire and stroke. Sometimes it's best just to get on with them. I'm seeing if a little bit of the glue stick will work. But yeah, there's no harm in leaving your first page. If you're finding it really intimidating, come back to it. And there doesn't even have to be anything on it. You could even just add a quote one day. But don't rush into it. Leave it blank. Come back to it. See how you feel. You might end up with the perfect thing for it. But there's no harm to leave it and not rush in. I'm going to use these rub-ons as well. These are from 7 Gypsies and they are yonks old. Can I see a date on them? 2006. What does that say on there? Hug before leaving. Oh, that's really cute. I am feeling, oh, Home Sweet Home is cute. That is so cute. Now, I don't actually have my little stick for these anymore. Let's use this. So, a rub-on's still a thing. Let me know if they are. I quite like a rub-on. I'm going to, the nice thing with a rub-on is, and if you are unfamiliar with a rub-on, that is literally what they do. You rub them on. Sometimes it can be a little bit daunting because you can pull the acetate away and then they haven't stuck on. So let's hope. Oh, this isn't the case. Yeah, I think I kind of bodged that up slightly, but it's kind of okay. Is that the E there that belonged to Home? I think it may be. Oh well. No, right, we're leaving it with that. Sometimes you can try and fix it and end up making it worse. That is the only thing with a rub-on. You've got one shot at it usually. Right, I love these. These are so old. They've been in my stash for so long. I would like to start using up some bits and pieces. Oh, it sounds like someone's scored a goal. Right, let's rub this on. You can also, obviously, if you are a doodler like I am, I love a doodle, you can always go back in afterwards, in this case with a thin black journaling pen, and just go over the edges. Somebody asked me recently actually what kind of pens I use for journaling. Let me just show you. Oh, is that all up? No, see here, look, I've got a couple of pieces that are left, so let's try and pop that back on there. You need to try and match it up. Usually the proper little sticks with these are like little lolly sticks. There. That's quite sweet, isn't it? I quite like that, and actually it matches really well with those. I've got space for my story, which I will do, and I quite like that. I'm going to leave that be for the time being. And I must say that had I not have gone through all my old stash before to put together this kit, there is no way I would be using these bits and pieces today, because I would not probably be delving into everything. So I'm really pleased that I have. Right, I've got space for my, oh, that still hasn't stuck on. Let's add a little bit of tape here, and if this doesn't work, I will be sticking it on with hot glue, because that stuff generally sticks everything, doesn't it? Let's try this one. There we go. Right, now what was the other thing I wanted to do? So I want to tell the story about that. I would also like to tell the story about the front garden as well. So that can be in there. I've got a little pocket here which I really like. I do not need the December, I just pop that in for the time being, so that can go away for now. So this is something completely different. I love that I've already done a pocket. Let's pop this onto some scrap paper as well, because there is also a story to go with this part of the garden as well. This is something that is a work in progress. We planted the most beautiful passion flower. There's a story behind that as well. Basically in our old house, it's a bit more deep, this one. When I was having trouble with my ex-husband, I bought myself a tiny little passion flower from Marks and Spencer's to cheer myself up one day. Planted it at the front of the house. Everyone said they were so difficult to grow. It completely flourished. It ended up covering the whole of the front of our house. It was beautiful, covered in the most beautiful flowers, and I just felt it really symbolized something, because my life ended up completely blossoming, and it went from strength to strength, and obviously moved on. Fast forward now 20 years later, and my life is very different. But one day the passion flower, this is going back a few years now, came home, and my father-in-law had torn down the whole passion flower and dug it up. It was it was big. It was really big, and it went over some of the windows, and I did need to trim it back. And he thought he was being kind. It wasn't something malicious, but his way of being kind was to rip the whole thing out, so I didn't have the problem of it going over the windows. I was devastated, absolutely devastated. Aid was too. He loved it. He knew how much it meant to me. Tried to grow others. They just didn't take. So we are growing a passion flower on the front here to go along. We've got a really long wall that goes down the side of the garden. That's like is like our back garden, but this is the front of the house, and it's really doing well. So that's something I wanted to document. I'm just having a little look to see if any of these, if they would be a good storytelling page to go with them. I don't know if there is actually. Could just go with your gardening journal and just start. I quite like that idea. Or do I go with, could do something like that actually. Let's grab some scrapbooking paper. I do really like that. Or do I, oh, I've just had an idea. Tell you what I have got. See if it's in this bag, because I do really like this page actually. That is the only thing when, oh, I have got what I was looking for. When you've got something that you really like, you don't always want to cover it up. I quite like that. And then I've got the space for underneath. Yeah, I'm going to do that because, oh, I tell you what I am going to do. I'm going to do something completely different. I would like to keep that. I love that. So let's go on the side, and we're going to turn this old glassine bag into a flip. Then that way I can just see that cute paper there. It's really cute. May even well colour it in. I'm going to pop that over there. Do I need that washi there? No, I don't. Let's just peel that up. I'm going to stick this down. on the front. I'm going to have a picture of Aid out the front on there. I like that idea. And then I can document the front garden, and we do actually have plans for that area, so I love that. I made a pocket recently, and I just popped this in just to show it was a pocket when I was journaling, but not sure if I wanted to keep it there, so actually I don't, so that's something I'm going to change now. So I've decided, actually, I love this. Following the rules rarely creates anything new. I really like that. Not so fussed with the lady on there. So I'm going to have a little think if I have got anything. I like that. Gratitude. That is something that would be really nice in the journal. Gratitude helps us to see what is there instead of what isn't. That is such a good quote for a journal, isn't it? For a gardening journal. And I love the daily to do. That is so beautiful. How perfect is that? See, starting a new journal can be really, really fun. You've just got to go with it sometimes. I love that. I do quite like the daily to do as well, actually. Not that this is a daily to do, because it's really not. Don't want the bit with meals on. I should have done the ruler trick, shouldn't I? I didn't want it quite so regimented going across though. Oh, actually, I like that one with the leaf better. Let's go with that one. I didn't realise it was both sides. I think that's another thing, actually, when you're starting something new, just to be open to things, to be open to change things. That is so cute. I love that. Let's go back to this one now. I'm still going to, oh, I love that. That is so nice. I really like that. I don't know why I was whispering then. Right. I like that. I like that. I might just pop it down the side there. Let's glue that there. Yeah, I like that. That's what I love about junk journaling, is just adding all the bits and pieces. Right, so I want to find something. I might actually take this leaf off and just place that there. I quite like that. Let's add some double-sided sticky tape on there. This is a leaf that I made myself. There we go. But then I feel like popping some paper on the other side. So, actually I might do this one. Then that way I can use this for journaling. So let's just, I plan to use these old planner lists a lot in this journal. They're so pretty. I think I need to sharpen my pencil. Right, let's cut around here. And this will be really handy then to use as a little journal card. Bear in mind when you're buying a planner, I've just bought myself a new planner, go for the ones with the pretty pages, because what you don't use you can tear out and use the following year. I've been doing that this year, using bits and pieces from my journal from last year, my planner that I haven't used. You really feel like you get your money's worth that way. Let's just go around the corners. There, this is cute. I like that. Love that. Cool. I do really like the red, actually. Notes and ideas. That is so cool. I think maybe we need to add a little bit of red to this page here. That would be good. As you can see, I don't really have a plan, and I'm pretty much open to anything. I know I don't want this journal to be really garish. I want it to have a relaxing feel, and I think by the way that I've created my little kit already, that has already set the tone. So I think that has definitely helped. I like that. Let's go over the wording there. We've got a cup of tea, we've got some drinks, got the daily to do, and that is stunning, isn't it? That is so beautiful. I wonder how much of this I can use. Oh, that is really special. I like that. I think we can use a lot of that. There we go. There, and that still lifts then as well. Cool, that has turned out really nicely. I feel like this needs something. Just to kind of bring the pages together, and a little bit of a title really. Times are changing, makes me smile. Every day is a fresh start. Days like these. I quite like times are changing. Let's go up here and staple this one. Let's see how well this will work. Yeah, that's worked really well actually. That is cute, and I feel like I would like to add something, maybe a little bit more red just to fit in. This one's really pretty. Oh, look how beautiful that is. I'm going to have so much fun with this journal, aren't I? So much fun. I'm just having a little look through to see if... I'm just having a look. This says hello 2019, but actually we can go over that, can't we? Let's see what we can do with this to turn that to 2023, because that was the start of this garden. I really hope this video is helping to inspire you start a new journal. I don't usually just kickstart them, jump straight in and have an idea for how I want this to go. This one is obviously slightly different. Just make sure I can still slide that out. Yes, let me just grab some stickers. I need some little number stickers. Love these. These are cute. Have I got the, yeah, 20. I'm just going to go over the whole lot, I think, just so that it matches. I think that's the best bet. That's something else as well. Whenever you're starting a new journal, I'm going to just trim that down. Remember your dates. It's so easy to forget them, but when you go back, I have done that so many times, you think, oh, what was the date, what month, what year? So even if you put the year, it doesn't even have to be the exact date. You will be really grateful to yourself that you've remembered to do that. You probably won't even think about it if you look back and you see the dates. It's not until you look back and you realise you haven't included the dates. I've done that so many times and it's really frustrating. Perfect. I love that. I've just realised this says looking forward and this is the front garden. So actually that is the perfect one. I wanted a little title. There, I like that. And I've also got space for my journaling here. Oh, I was going to journal on the back there, wasn't I? So that's what I'm going to do there. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that one. I feel like I maybe want to do something, but I'm not quite sure what. Let me know what you think. Is there anything you would do right now? I'm quite happy for this journal to get chunky and add lots of bits and pieces. I think I'm going to leave it at that for now, but actually I really want to add some red. I don't know what. That's too pink. I'm not going to add that. This will be handy. Oh, I like this. This says journey. I like that. I have got a little bit here with some different colours that I've separated. So this would be really handy. Got like little cherries. Oh, we've got some hearts. Yeah, sometimes even just adding a couple of little bits like that can really make a difference. That's pretty, I really like that. That's what I'm going to do. It's almost quite Christmassy actually, isn't it? Love that. Have we got a couple more things? And I really like the organising by colour, because when you come to like now and I think, oh, I just want something a little bit red, I know exactly what to do and where to go, and that really helps. Oh, here's another one. It's a cute little one with a little bit of blue. There, that ties that in beautifully, and I feel like maybe just something at the top there for me to think, yep, that's my little pull out bit. I think a little tab top or something like that would be really handy. I'm sure I can find something in amongst all my stash. Oh, I quite like that here today. I'm going to keep that one out. I knew I would find something. There we go. Let's pop that on there, and I've instantly got my little tab top like that. That is cool. I am so happy with that. Ready for my journaling as well. Making a really good start today. I think I'm going to leave it like that for today. I was going to continue, but it's actually getting on quite late. I've ended up journaling here or working in my journal for a lot longer than I expected, and I'm really, really happy. And then I've still got my photos then ready to come back with to work on then. I'm so happy with this, and I'm already thinking about what I want to do next. And I think that's the other thing as well, because I'm planning ahead and I've got my little kit, I know what I want to do, and that makes it quite exciting. So I would really, really recommend, one, having a kit to work with, and two, staying open to what you want to do, so giving yourself different options as well. So then I feel it's not so difficult to make a decision then, because you know that you can go back and change things or add if you want to. I think that's the difficult thing when you think, right, this is the one and only time you've got to make this decision. If it's a decision you think, oh yeah, I can come back and change that, then it doesn't feel quite so scary. So I'm actually going to put all of this in my kit bag, and I am going to walk away, do my journaling first, walk away, and I am pleased with this start to this journal. I think we've done really, really well today. I hope this has helped you. I hope it's inspired you and helped you maybe to start your journal as well. Let me know if you are in the midst of starting one, if you're thinking about one, what kind of journal, and let me know if this has helped you today. Thank you so much for being here with me. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing you in a new video on Thursday. Take care. Bye.